Namaskar, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, students and scholars, teachers and trainers, professors, professionals, officials, listener, learners. I welcome all respected doctors and directors. I welcome all honorable ministers and managers. I welcome all honorable advocates, retired judges, administrative advisors. It is really nice time, nice place, nice action. That we are defining, explaining, describing our holy Indian cultural identities and changes. What is happening around the world? Let us go through the form of unity and diversity. EC pushes SIR form deadline to December 11 amid BLO distress. Draft list will be released on December 16. Final rule will be published on February 14. EC pushes SIR form deadline to December 11 amid BLO distress. Draft list will be released on December 16. Final rule will be published on Feb 14. It says additional week is being given for BLOs to share details with BLOs. Status update. The Election Commission on Sunday said 99.65% of enumeration forms for the Special Intensive Division of Electoral Rolls have been distributed so far. 84.30% of the manually filled enumeration forms have been digitized. Uttar Pradesh has the lowest digitization rate at 69.56%. West Bengal, where the ruling Tribal Congress has raised alarm regarding pressure on BLOs, has completed digitization of 95.24% of forms. News from New Delhi amid widespread reports of both level officers facing severe stress, with some of them allegedly dying by suicide. The Election Commission on Sunday extended the schedule of the ongoing Special Intensive Division of Electoral Rolls in 9 states and 3 union territories by a week. The enumeration phase will now continue till December 11 instead of December 4. The draft list will be released on December 16 instead of December 9, and the final roll will be published on February 14 instead of February 7. The EC said in a statement, the poll body said that 99.65% of enumeration forms have been distributed so far and 84.30% completed forms have been digitized. Uttar Pradesh has the lowest digitization rate at 69.56%. West Bengal, where the ruling Tribal Congress has raised an alarm regarding pressure on BLOs, has completed the digitization of 95.24% of forms. tight deadlines. Opposition parties have been questioning the tight deadlines in the SIR exercise, citing the deaths of BLOs allegedly triggered by stress. The EC's decision to tweak the schedule also comes on the eve of the winter session of Parliament, which begins on Monday and is likely to see widespread protest over the SIR. Supreme EC sources, however, said that an additional week is being given to allow BLOs who are poll officials sufficient time to share the names of absent, shifted, dead and duplicate voters with BLAs. The booth level agents appointed by political parties before the draft rolls are published so as to ensure full transparency. The first phase of SIR was conducted in Bihar. Opposition presses for debate on SIR. No assurance from government. In a sign of a frosty beginning of winter session, opposition parties set SIR debate as a non-negotiable condition for smooth functioning of parliament. Congress and others also want a debate on national security following the recent Red Fort blast from New Delhi. In a near unanimous demand, the opposition parties on Sunday asked the government to hold a discussion on the special intensive revision of electoral laws being carried out in 9 states and 3 union territories. Several parties, including the Congress, also pressed for debate on national security in the wake of the recent Red Fort blast. During the all-party meeting chaired by Defence Minister Rajnath Singh ahead of the winter session of Parliament, which begins on Monday, no assurance was forthcoming from the government on either issue. Speaking to reporters after the 2-hour meeting, which was attended by 50 leaders from 36 political parties, Parliamentary Affairs Mr. Kiran Rijiju said the House should be allowed to function smoothly, asked whether the government would agree to a debate on the SIR. Mr. Rijiju said it was for the Business Advisory Committee of the two houses to decide. The matter will be discussed at the BAC meeting, he said. The opposition parties, including the Congress, Trinamool Congress, DMK, Samajwadi Party, RJD, and the left parties, reiterated the demand at the BAC meetings. Sources indicated there were no assurance from the government. Purity of voter list according to sources at the all-party meeting. All attendees spoke except BJP representatives. Congress leader Gaurav Gogoi, Jairam Ramesh and Kodhi Kunil Suresh attended the meeting. Mr. Gogoi, speaking for the party, stressed the need for a debate on security, internet, democratic strategy, health, economy and data. He told reporters that the party demanded a discussion on national security following the Delhi blast. The second is the security of democracy. The election commission before, during and after election is acting in a biased manner. There should be discussion on the purity of the voter list, he said. The party also wanted a debate on pollution, an issue flagged by leader of the opposition in the Lok Sabha, Rahul Gandhi. Samajwadi Party's Ram Gopal Yadav made a strong case for a debate on the SIR, citing irregularities and malpractices in its conduct. We will not allow the House to function if discussion is not held on the SIR, he told reporter. The Trinamool Congress, represented by Rajya Sabha leader Derek O'Brien and Lok Sabha member Kalyan Banerjee, said it was ready to cooperate with the government but expected reciprocity. Mr. O'Brien reportedly flagged and declined in parliament sittings. The party also demanded debates on the SIR and due out by the centre to state. Need to perform public perception of police, says PM. From New Delhi, addressing the top police brass of the country on Sunday, Prime Minister Narendra Modi stressed the importance of establishing mechanism for regular monitoring of banned outfits, ensuring the holistic development of areas free from left-wing extremism and adopting innovative models to strengthen coastal security. Mr. Modi also emphasized the urgent need to transform public perception of the police, particularly among the youth, by enhancing professionalism, sensitivity, and responsiveness. He was speaking at the 16th All India Conference of Director Generals or Inspector Generals of Police being held in Raipur with the theme of Viksit Bharat Security Dimensions. The Prime Minister underscored the need for stronger preparedness and coordination, urging police chiefs to reinforce mechanisms for effective disaster management, covering cyclones, floods, and other natural emergencies, including the ongoing situation of Cyclone Ditwa. Mr. Modi emphasized that tackling drug abuse also requires a whole of government approach, bringing together enforcement, rehabilitation, and community level intervention. He highlighted the need to strengthen urban policing, reinvigorate the tourist police, and increase public awareness regarding the newly enacted Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, Bharatiya Sakhya Adhiniyam, and Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita. The statement shared. He directed the police and the wider administration to adopt innovative strategies for integrating uninhabited island with effective use of databases integrated under NET grid and link-based systems through artificial intelligence to generate actionable intelligence. EC asserted its authority to assess citizens for registration in electoral rolls. Central Citizenship Security Power is Limited EC says from New Delhi. The Election Commission has dismissed arguments raised in the Special Intensive Division case by opposition parties that only the Union government had exclusive authority to scrutinize citizenship, saying the center's power is limited to inquiring into the circumstances in which Indian citizens voluntarily acquired foreign citizenship. The Commission referred to Section 9 of the Citizenship Act 1955, which deals with the termination of citizenship in cases of voluntary acquisition of foreign citizenship. Section 9 vests in the center the authority to determine when or how an Indian citizen acquired foreign citizenship. The powers of the central government are confined to reviewing the acquisition of foreign citizenship and whether, based on such acquisition, the Indian citizenship of a person should be terminated, it is only for the limited purpose that the exclusive jurisdiction has been vested in the center to the exclusion of all other authorities. Every other aspect related to citizenship can be inquired into by other authorities. The Election Commission argued in its 184-page affidavit. The ruling parties and their leaders in Tamil Nadu, Kerala, and West Bengal have described the SIR as citizenship screening. Parties including the Dravid Muneras Rajagam have alleged that the EC is misusing the division of electoral rolls to conduct a do no vote national register of citizens. The poll body asserted its authority to assess citizenship for the purpose of registration in electoral rolls. Indian citizenship is one of the constitutional preconditions under Article 326 for entry into the voter list. Even if we assume without considering it is only the center which can appraise citizenship, it is imperative that citizenship sought from existing electors under the SIR exercises for a limited purpose, that is, registration in the electoral rolls which enable the right to vote. The Commission submitted it emphasized that the SIR exercise was not meant to determine the status of citizenship. The EC reiterated that its power to scrutinize citizenship flow directly from Article 324, which empowers it to supervise and control the conduct of elections in Article 326. No parliamentary law could oust the EC's jurisdiction, it said, noting that even the authority of Parliament to make laws on elections under Article 327 must align with the Commission's plenary powers. The Representation of the People Act RUPA 1950 through Section 16 and 19 requires that voters must be Indian citizens. Section 16 disqualifies non-citizens from being included in the electoral roll and electors must be ordinarily resident in a constituency to be registered and ASIR conducted under Section 21(3) of ROPA has to be intense and instituted by felt necessities, the EC said. The guidelines issued with respect to the SIR are constitutional and in the interest of maintaining the purity of the electoral rolls, which is a prerequisite for free and fair elections that form the basic feature of the Constitution, it argued. The EC denied the opposition's claim that SIR was unconstitutional because it shifted the burden of verification onto electors who must fill up enumeration forms to avoid exclusion from the electoral rolls. The Commission said SIR was a voter-friendly and cooperative exercise. Electors were required only to sign their pre-filled EFCs delivered at their homes by booth-level officials. Cyclone Ditwa weakens. 3 died in rain-related incidents, 334 dead, over 300 missing in Sri Lanka. At least 334 people have died and 370 remain missing as Sri Lanka reels from the impact of Cyclone Ditwa. Huge number of fatalities were reported from Badula, Kandy, Nuyara area and Matala district, home to some of the most economically marginalized communities. Cyclone Ditwa began to weaken on Sunday even as it continued its slow northward movement over the Bay of Bengal parallel to the coast of northern Tamil Nadu and Puducherry. Torrential rain led to 3 deaths with 2 people killed by collapsing walls in Tanjore and Thuthukudi district and one person electrocuted. Over 2,300 people were in relief campus on Sunday morning. State Minister of Revenue and Disaster Management KK SSR Ramchandran said, adding that 330 huts have been damaged and 56,000 hectares of crops are underwater. The center of the cyclonic system stayed around 80 kilometers from the coast as it moved at a speed of just 5 kilometers per hour on Sunday morning, weakening to a deep depression by Sunday night. According to the Regional Meteorological Center, it was expected to come within 30 kilometers of the coastline by midnight, lightly. Light to moderate rains. Light to moderate rain is likely at associated places over TN and Puducherry, Tamil Nadu and Puducherry, Raikal on Monday with thunderstorms and lightning at a few places. Heavy rain is likely at isolated places in Trivandrum district. Galley winds are likely to decrease gradually with speed of 45 to 55 kilometers per hour, gusting to 65 kilometers per hour. Sea conditions are likely to improve gradually. Netanyahu submits request for pardon from graft charges to Israeli president. From Tel Aviv, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Sunday asked the country's president Ishaq Herzog to grant him a pardon from corruption charges, seeking to end a long-running trial that has bitterly divided the nation. Mr. Netanyahu, who has been at war against the country's legal system over the charges, said the request would help unify the country at a time of momentous changes, but it immediately triggered denunciation from his opponents who said it would weaken Israel's democratic institutions and said a dangerous damage that he is above the rule of law. In a statement on Sunday, the Prime Minister's office said that Mr. Netanyahu had submitted a request for a pardon to the legal department of the office of the President. The President's office called it an extraordinary request carrying out a significant implication. Mr. Netanyahu is the only sitting Prime Minister in Israeli history to stand trial after being charged with fraud, breach of trust and accepting bribes in three separate cases. He has not been convicted. He has rejected the allegations and has condemned the case as a witch hunt orchestrated by the media, police and judiciary. 11 killed, 50 hurt as two buses collided in Tamil Nadu from Shivaganga. Row where West Bengal ordered to upload Waqf properties online from Kolkata. Judgments must not be tossed out after their authors retired from New Delhi. Boy get clashing, wedding for food killed SISF constable held from New Delhi. A 17-year-old boy was shot dead at a wedding ceremony in a East Delhi MS Park on Saturday after the allegedly tried to steal food. The police said on Sunday the accused Central Industrial Security Force head constable attending the event as accused has been arrested and booked under BNS Section 302 murder and under Sections 27, 54 and 69 of the Arms Act. The police said they received a call from a passerby on Saturday evening about a boy being shot near a community center in MS Park. A local police team reached the spot. A crime team was also called in. It was found that the boy, a resident of New Modern Shahadra, had been rushed to Hadgar Hospital by those present, but doctors declared him dead on arrival, an officer said. The alleged shooter, who was posted in Kanpur, Uttar Pradesh, was arrested soon after the incident on Saturday. A revolver believed to have been used in the office was recovered from him and has been sent for forensic examination, the officer said. Shot during escape bid. Preliminary findings suggest the juvenile entered the venue by jumping over a wall, following which the accused got into an argument with the boy and shot him as he was trying to flee, said the official. The body has been sent for a post-mortem examination. The accused is being interrogated about the circumstances leading to the altercation and the police are verifying whether the gun was licensed. Software upgraded airbase A320 plans DDCA from New Delhi Aviation Regular Directorate General of Civil Aviation DGCA on Sunday said Indian carriers have completed software upgrades on 323 operational plans of A320 family to address a potential issue related to flight controls. A total of 338 A320 family aircraft with the three Indian airlines were initially identified for the upgrades. Supramae gives Cho for the title from Ahmedabad. It took a birdie on the 18th and final hole from Thailand's Pusit Supru Pranay to emerge the champion in the $500,000 Bharat Classic Gujarat by one stroke, holding off the challenge of a surging Wuyung Cho at the Castle Golf Resort on Sunday. Abhishek back to his destructive best from Hyderabad. Entertainers carry the burden of expectation. It's a boon and bane. Abhishek Sharma is no stranger to the adulation and brickbats that come along with excellence and its constant demand. His pyrotechnics at the top of the order made 300 runs, almost a mandate for Sunrisers Hyderabad in the IPL. He has carried that same destructive vein in international cricket. The domestic scene naturally was ready and waiting for the fireworks. Anti-climatically, when he returned a total of 10 runs in the first to Saeed Mustaq Ali Trophy game for Punjab, this after testing outing down under where gaps were discovered in his merciless style of play. Whispers of doubt followed. However, on Sunday, Abhishek got the monkey off his back in a way only he can. The 25-year-old gave Bengal with the likes of Mohammad Shami and Akash Deep in the ranks, a rude awakening, the side running from pillar to post in search of answers or good fortune. Neither he was found. His command down the ground and on the leg side helped him coast into the record books, the most T26s by an Indian in a calendar year, second most maximum 16 in a T20 innings by an Indian, and the second highest T20 scored 148 by an Indian to name a few. The basics of game, stance, grip, swing and timing were all there but on steroids. Pace or spin, fast or slow, Abhishek showed equal disregard. If not for his body of work, this whirlwind knock wouldn't been filed under scarcely digestible and barely conceivable. All well in character for the world's top-ranked T20 batter. When he eventually fell, Abhishek walked to cheers from his teammates and fans, thronging the fences. Lost in the noise was the sound of the bookmakers reworking India's odds at next year's home T20 World Cup, and understandably so. Divyanshi bags under 15 bronze, under 19 boys still wins silver. West Ham legend Burns passes away aged 79. Bengaluru 7th Ashes advanced to December 5. Top seeds Melbourne and Ahad start favourites. Fuljila Sharif first Indians to finish on WRC 3 podium. Belgium edges India win Sultan Adnan Shah Cup. India books berth in the AFC Under 17 Asian Cup. India came back from a goal down to beat Iran 2-1 at the Eka Arena in Ahmedabad on Sunday to qualify for the AFC Under 17 Asian Cup 2029. Abhishek Blitzkrieg sets up Punjab's thumping victory over Bengal from Hyderabad. Form is, form is temporary, class is permanent. Form is temporary, class is permanent. It's a cheesy adage, but it always finds a way to be relevant in the madness that is cricket. Ask Abhishek Sharma. With 10 runs across 10 Shahid Mustaq Ali Trophy matches, including a duck in the Super Over, runs had been hard to come by for the 25-year-old. But on a cold Sunday morning here, Abhishek took little time to set the turf on fire at the Gymkhana ground, translating Punjab's clash with Bengal into a cinematic melodrama. In home conditions, Abhishek schooled the Bengal bowler, including his former Sunrisers Hyderabad teammates Mohammad Shami, Tarisha, Gayatri, duels. Result continues. Srikanth falls agonistingly short again from Lucknow. CAT 2025 Gateway to these schools. What Jan, Jet wants from at PGDM, RMB, and how management institutions are adapting. In India, the profile of PGDM or MBA aspirants has undergone a significant transformation over last decades. The upcoming peer group entering management discipline and visualization with expectation shaped by global uncertainty, digital acceleration, and a fundamentally different outlook on effort and purpose. Unlike preceding associates, they are not drawn purely by the promise of corporate titles or traditional management roles. Instead, they view on MBA as a platform to build meaningful growth in career, navigate a fast-changing world, and develop skills that go beyond conventional management education. Recognizing this shift, institutions like for School of Management have reimagined curriculum design, curricular and experiential learning, and international MSc program to meet the needs of this new generation. The result is a more holistic, future-aligned management education. A desire for persistence, ambitious career. For Gen Z, work is not just a means to make a living. It is closely linked to impact, identity, and values. This generation is deeply sensible of social issues, that is, community development, ethical governance, diversity, inclusion, and environmental sustainability. They aspire to join organizations that demonstrate long-term thinking and integrity. From Delhi NCR to Oxford, PGDM education with global exposure. As the global business climate evolves, it values not just job seekers but also the job creators, thereby influencing new currents of thoughts in management education. Students can leverage their CAT scores to secure admission to PGDM program that emphasizes on competitive performance and academic excellence. CAT as the game changer IMS Ghaziabad. IMS Ghaziabad recreates the power of placement by admitting students on CAT scorer. While several base schools in India witnessed slowdown in the placement, IMS Ghaziabad was an exception with path-breaking placement achievements. This is a more so when the institute adopted a complete CAT-based admission policy, which is in sync with the national strategy of Premier B schools. This move and the effect of improving the quality of students that came to IMS Ghaziabad, and this also in turn played an important part in owing to huge rush from corporates, thus making IMS Ghaziabad quite a desired destination for management admission, with CAT being introduced and admissions based on them. A cohort of students relatively superior in analytical ability and quantitative decision making were brought into the campus. Something highly valued by premier recruiters. Consequently, many of those who would have otherwise received premier profiles in favor of CAT driven admissions for the institute centers with IMS Ghaziabad. Again, the season witnessed an increase in not just in number of participating companies, but also a broader range of roles being offered. Russell retires from IPL, joins KKR to support staff from Kolkata. Kolkata Knight Riders all-rounder Andre Russell on Sunday announced his retirement from the IPL while informing that he would be part of the three-time title-winning side to support staff as power coach in the 2026 edition. Sharing the news through a video message addressed to the KKR fans on social media, the 37-year-old who has been an integral part of KKR since 2014 said, "I don't want to fade out. I want to leave a legacy behind." Saudi Arabia gets the better of India from Chennai. The Indian men's basketball team's shooting moves were at the forefront once again as it succumbed to a 57-81 loss to Saudi Arabia in their FIBA World Cup 2027 Asian Quarterfinal Group D match at the Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium here on Sunday. New Zealand and Argentina play out an exciting draw from Chennai. New Zealand's exciting 3-3 draw against the higher-ranked Argentina after twice trailing under them, taking the lead in a 5H Junior Men's Hockey World Cup. Pool C match made for a compelling watch at the SDAT Mayor Radhakrishnan Stadium here on Sunday. With a win and draw from its two matches, New Zealand is on a high. It still has to face Japan, which earlier scripted its first win, a hard-fought 3-2 results over China. United Liverpool win on the road from London. Joshua Zirkzee scored his first Premier League goal for nearly a year before Mason Mount grabbed the winner as Manchester United came from behind to beat Crystal Palace 2-1 in the Premier League in Sunday. Later, Alexander Isak finally scored his first Premier League goal for troubled Liverpool to inspire a much needed 2-0 win against West Ham. Kohli steals the show as India draws first blood. Rohit and Rahul chip in with 50. Harshit and Kuldeep start with the ball as the Proteas fall short in the 350-run chase. Britsgay, Jensen and boasted spirited efforts go in vain from Ranchi. The full house at the JSC International Stadium complex here enjoyed 3 hours of Virat Kohli and his absolute best. It was winter undisturbed. Risky flicks, charging and pacers and straight drivers from the Sachin Tendulkar playback. It was a fitting response to Roy, who questioned Kohli's future in the ODI setup. A sublime 120 ball, 135 proved that Kohli is here to stay. The next World Cup may be 2 years away, but Sunday's knock was a reminder of the tremendous value that Kohli brings to the national team. The Kohli masterclass led India to a narrow 17-run win over South Africa in the first ODI fighting knocks from Matthew Brick. Kohli surpasses Tendulkar for the most centuries in one format ODI master stage. Favorite opponent Kohli goes past Tendulkar, Warner for most ODI hundreds against SA. Rohit Kohli pair sets India record for most matches together and during partnership. India matches its second highest ODI total against South Africa run fast. भारत इंटरनेशनल आईडी की स्थापना करता है. भारत को मिली नई जिम्मेदारी, श्रीलंका के लिए देवदूत बना भारत. वैश्विक लोकतांत्रिक मंच इंटरनेशनल की अध्यक्षता करेंगे ज्ञानेश कुमार. ऑपरेशन सागर बंधु भारत ने बढ़ाए हाथ. चक्रवात दित्वा से भूस्खलन बाढ़. 3 दिसंबर 2024 स्वीडन के स्टॉकहोम में होगा कार्यक्रम. 334 से अधिक मौतें, 9 लाख लोग प्रभावित. कार्यक्रम की अध्यक्षता. ऑपरेशन सागर बंधु के तहत राहत कार्य शुरू. कार्यक्रम में 35 सदस्य देश होंगे शामिल. भारत इंटरनेशनल आईडीए की स्थापना सदस्य है. भारत इंटरनेशनल आईडिया का स्थापना सदस्य है. भारत को मिली नई जिम्मेदारी. भारत की मानवीय सहायता और आपदा राहत, विविधता पूर्ण आवश्यक मदद. C-130J और IL-36 विमानों से भेजी गई आपदा राहत सामग्री. विश्व बंधु भारत वैक्सीन मैत्री. पड़ोसी पहले. भारत हमेशा संकट की घड़ी में सबसे पहले मददगार देश. कार्यक्रम में 35 सदस्य देश होंगे शामिल. भारत इंटरनेशनल आईडीए का स्थापना सदस्य है. चक्रवात दित्वा से भूवर्ड और भूस्खलन तबाही. भारत की मानवीय सहायता और आपदा राहत, अंतर्राष्ट्रीय सहयोग, क्षेत्रीय संगठनों सार्क, बिम्स्टेक, एशियन. भारत की मानवीय सहायता और आपदा राहत. भारतीय सेना, थल सेना, नौसेना, वायुसेना, अनेक मानवीय संस्थाएं, नागरिक संस्थाएं, एनडीआरएफ, विदेश मंत्रालय, स्वास्थ्य मंत्रालय. तत्काल राहत सामग्री की मदद. बाढ़ में फंसे लोगों को रस्सियों और राख से बचाया. From campus to corporate, how KIET University is nurturing next gen managers. In today's dynamic business landscape, the journey from campus to corporate has become more competitive, more global and more opportunity driven than ever before. For aspirants seeking to enter the world of management, CAT 2025 stands as a defining gateway not only to India's premier B schools but also to a wide spectrum of international prospects as industries undergo rapid digitalization and organizations expand across borders. The expectations from future managers are evolving and so much their preparation. The CAT examination, renowned for its rigor and precision, tests more than aptitude. It cultivates essential qualities such as analytical reasoning, strategic thinking, agility under pressure, and data-driven decision-making. These traits form the foundation of effective leadership in global business environment. But the significance of CAT 2025 does not end with security admission to a prestigious management institute. Rather, it is the beginning of a transformative academic journey, one that leads to global exposure, industry engagement, international internships, research collaborations, and cross-cultural learning environments that prepare students for leadership roles worldwide. As top-based schools increasingly integrate international case studies, corporate events, programs, and global exposure modules. Success in CAT becomes the first step towards a transformative learning journey that shapes professionals ready to lead in diverse settings. From the perspective of KIET, deemed to be University CAT 2025 holds even greater relevance as our vision is sharply aligned with fostering academic excellence, innovation, and leadership at a global scale for more than 2 decades. The university has been committed to nurturing professionals who can excel in an interconnected world. Reimagining management education for a New Delhi NICE School of Business Studies, Shobit University, Meerut. Management education in India is undergoing a period of thoughtful change as industries adopt digital pressure, advanced analytical, artificial intelligence, and globally networked operations. The demands placed on young managers are expanding quickly. They must combine academic depth with practical judgment, cultural awareness, and the ability to work with new technology. This shift calls for learning environment that bring together strong university foundations and active industry engagement. Beacon of excellence in management education, JP Business School in the world of business where adaptability, innovation, and leadership drive access. JP Business School stands as a beacon of excellence in management education, a constituent of the prestigious JP Institute of Information Technology. JBS has rapidly emerged as one of India's promising and progressive schools. Established in 2007, JBS was envisioned to deliver cutting-edge management education integrated with technology, reflecting the JP Group's legacy of excellence in education, engineering, and infrastructure. भारत इंटरनेशनल आइडिया का स्थापना सदस्य है। डिजिटल अरेस्ट धोखाधड़ी मामले में सुप्रीम कोर्ट का बड़ा आदेश। डिजिटल अरेस्ट मामलों की जांच सीबीआई करेगी, सुप्रीम कोर्ट से। इंफॉर्मेशन टेक्नोलॉजी से जुड़े संस्थान सीबीआई को मदद और सहयोग करें। मणिपुर माल और सेवा पर विधेयक 2025 लोकसभा में पारित। नवंबर में जीएसटी कलेक्शन में 0.7% की बढ़ोतरी। नवंबर में 1.70 लाख करोड़ रुपए से ज्यादा हुआ। बंगाल एसआईआर गणना में 1.25 करोड़ एंट्री की ऑडिट। विश्व बंधु भारत। ऑपरेशन सागर बंधु श्रीलंका में मददगार बना भारत। विश्व बंधु भारत ऑपरेशन सागर बंधु। सुवेदु अधिकारी और बीजेपी नेताओं ने चीफ भारत ने श्रीलंका में पहुंचाई राहत सामग्री। सुवेदु अधिकारी ने पॉलिटिकल कंसल्टेंसी एजेंसी ऑपरेशन सागर बंधु। भारत ने बढ़ाई मदद की हाथ। एसआईआर प्रोसेस के दौरान डेटा एंट्री। कोलकाता पुलिस एक तरफा काम कर रही है, सुवेदु अधिकारी से स्वाम कोलकाता। 26 to 28 नवंबर के बीच 125 करोड़ की सभी एंट्री की जांच शुरू। स्पेशल ऑब्जर्वर्स और ईसीआई की टेक्निकल टीम करे जांच। मजबूत मोबाइल प्राइमरी हेल्थ यूनिट है भीमसम ऑपरेशन सागर बंधु। लोकसभा में इस हफ्ते चर्चा के लिए 10 घंटे का समय हुआ आवंटित। 27 टन राहत सामग्री भेजी गई। ऑपरेशन सागर बंधु एक चिकित्सा दल भी पहुंचा श्रीलंका। प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी होंगे चर्चा में शामिल। वंदे मातरम को इस साल हुए हैं 150 वर्ष पूरे। तमिलनाडु राजभवन का नाम बदला गया। तमिलनाडु राजभवन का नाम बदला गया। अब लोक भवन तमिलनाडु के नाम से जाना जाएगा। Indonesia and Thailand race to find missing person as flood. Toll tops 600 from Padang. Indonesia and Thai officials raced on Sunday. Indonesian Thai authorities raced on Sunday to clear debris and find hundreds of missing people as the death toll from devastating flood and landslides across Southeast Asia topped 600. Heavy monsoon rain overwhelmed swaths of Indonesia, Thailand and Malaysia this week. Leaving thousands of people stranded without shelter or critical supplies. At least two areas of Indonesia worst affected, Sumatra Island, were still unreachable on Sunday, and authorities said they had deployed two warships from Jakarta to deliver aid. Central Trinidad and Sibolga city required full attention due to being isolated. National Disaster Agency. Bangladesh's Khaleda in critical condition. Sons returned uncertain from Dhaka. Bangladesh's former Prime Minister and opposition leader Khaleda Zia remains in very critical condition at a Dhaka hospital. Her party shared on Sunday as her exiled son and acting party chief Tariq Rahman signaled uncertainty over his return. Rubio and Petkov to meet with Ukraine's negotiators for deal. West Palm Beach. Top Trump administration officials are meeting Ukrainian negotiators in Florida this weekend, pushing to broker an end to Russia's war in Ukraine and setting the stage for key talks planned this week in Moscow with Russian leader Vladimir Putin. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, specially envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, the son-in-law of US President Donald Trump, were expected to sit down with the Ukrainian delegation to further hash out the details of a proposed peace framework, talks that come at a sensitive moment of Ukraine as it continues to push back against Russian forces that invaded the country in 2022. At least 334 dead, over 300 missing in Ditwa devastation in Sri Lanka. ऑपरेशन विश्व बंधु भारत, ऑपरेशन सागर बंधु भारत ने बढ़ाई मदद के हाथ। चक्रवात दित्वा से बाढ़, भूस्खलन और तबाही। 334 से अधिक मौतें, 9.68 लाख लोग प्रभावित। हिल कंट्री डिस्ट्रिक्ट वेयर Malaya Tamils work and live must affected. Nearly 2 lakh people shifted to safety centers. The Shianke pledged rebuilding efforts, support for victims' families, and acknowledges aid from neighboring countries. From Colombo, at least 334 people have died so far and 370 remain missing at Sri Lanka reels from the devastating impact of Cyclone Ditwa. A large number of fatalities were reported on Sunday from Badula, Kandy, Nuwara Elia and Matale districts, home to some of the Sri Lanka most economically marginalized communities. Visuals from the affected areas showed Colonel Airlines rooms housing Malika Tamil. Descendants of laborers that the British brought down from South India to work in plantations 2 centuries ago collapsing and being buried under soil as the hillsides above them gave way. More than 11 lakh people have been affected and nearly 2 lakh displaced. And housed in safety centers, the Disaster Management Center said in a statement on Sunday evening. Cyclone Ditwa brought record rainfall to several districts and triggered multiple landslides in Sri Lanka. In a televised address to the country Sunday evening, President Deshyanke pledged to work hard to rebuild the country and support families of victims, assuring families of victims of all possible support. He said every life lost is not merely a number. Every life carried a name, a face, and a story. Meanwhile, the Sri Lanka military continued rescue operations across the island and crucial support from their Indian counterparts. The Indian Air Force sent its helicopters undertook a hybrid rescue mission with Sri Lankan authorities to evacuate stranded passengers from a restricted zone. The Indian High Commission in Colombo also helped the hundreds of stranded Indians secure alternative return flights, including those operated by the Air Force. Mr. Deshianke acknowledged the assistance in the address and said our neighboring countries have also provided significant assistance. Already helicopters and relief forces have been deployed, extending a helping hand in solidarity. Pak rejects UN warning over its 27th Amendment from Islamabad. Pakistan on Sunday rejected UN High Commissioner for Human Rights Volker Turk's concern about the 27th Constitutional Amendment as ungrounded and misplaced apprehension. In a statement issued in Geneva on Friday, the Human Rights Chief said the latest constitutional amendment, like the 26th Amendment last year, had been adopted without broad consultation and debate with the legal community and wider civil society. He added that the hastily adopted amendments undermine judicial independence and raised concerns about military accountability. The Foreign Office in a press release said that, like all parliamentary democracies, all legislation as well as any amendment to the constitution remain the exclusive domain of the elected representatives of the people of Pakistan. While Pakistan gave due importance to the work of the High Commissioner for Human Rights, it is regrettable that Pakistan's views and ground realities were not reflected in the statement issued. It added that Pakistan remains fully committed to protecting, promoting, and upholding human rights, human dignity, basic freedoms, and the rule of law as enshrined in the Constitution. We urge the High Commissioner to respect the sovereign decisions of Pakistan's parliament and avoid complimentary that reflects political bias and misinformation it shared. Earlier this month, Pakistan's Joint Parliamentary Committee of the Senate and National Assembly approved the 27th Constitutional Amendment Bill, with the opposition alleging that the government was sounding the death knell for the Supreme Court. Israel says it killed 4 militants coming out of tunnels in Gaza from Jerusalem. 12 clients to 446 in Hong Kong fire and police search building interior from Hong Kong. Suspected National Guard attack struggled with dark isolation from Washington. UK plans Criminal justice system overhaul by cutting court delays from London. डिजिटल अरेस्ट धोखाधड़ी मामले में सुप्रीम कोर्ट का बड़ा आदेश। डिजिटल अरेस्ट मामलों की जांच सीबीआई करेगी, सुप्रीम कोर्ट से। इंफॉर्मेशन टेक्नोलॉजी से जुड़े संस्थान सीबीआई को मदद और सहयोग करें। मणिपुर माल और सेवा पर विधेयक 2025 लोकसभा में पारित। नवंबर में जीएसटी कलेक्शन में 0.7% की बढ़ोतरी। नवंबर में 1.70 लाख करोड़ रुपए से ज्यादा का हुआ कलेक्शन। बंगाल एसआईआर गणना में 1.25 करोड़ एंट्री के ऑडिट की मांग। शांति पर मंथन, बीजेपी ने 125 करोड़ एंट्री के ऑडिट की मांग की। Months after floods, fields still inundated. Inundated, government aid not in sight, say Haryana farmers. Only about a meter or so of the top of a foot wide boundary wall of a primary school is now visible. Most of it is covered in water, hemmed in by a sea of invasive green hyacinth. Roughly 150 families must walk on top of this wall to reach the outside world from Bhagwar village in Haryana's Hisar. More than 3 months after floods submerged this village and large parts of the state, reptiles and insects, some poisonous, now live in the water, making this strip of wall both a lifeline and a hazard for these families. Temporary walkways, wooden planks precariously balanced on diesel barrels connect the wall to houses, providing a passage over inundated streets below. Maharashtra woman marries corpse after kin kill man she loved over caste differences from Nanded. Hindu families put up their homes for sale. Hindu families put up their homes for sale after Muslim man buys house in UP locality from Bulandshahr. The house was sold by a Hindu man who had been trying to sell his property due to financial stress but couldn't find buyers in the neighborhood. Many opposition MLAs in touch with NDA, says Chirag. Union Minister Chirag Paswan on Sunday claimed that the number of MLAs of the opposition Mahagathbandhan in Bihar were in touch with the ruling NDA, which has retained power in the state with a brute majority. Eviction drive continues in Assam, 1700 families affected. An eviction drive was underway in Assam's Nagaon district on the second consecutive day on Sunday to clear encroachment from 5,962 bighas of forest land, officials said. Row over West Bengal government's order to upload Waqf properties online, BJP targets Mamta. Letter sent to DM on November 27 points out that all existing registered Waqf properties are to be uploaded within 6 months from the date of launch of UMED portal. CM finally brought to law, BJP said. From Kolkata, a letter by West Bengal Minority Affairs Department directing all district magistrates DM to upload details of registered Waqf properties in the Unified Waqf Management, Empowerment, Efficiency and Development portal has given a handle to the opposition parties to target the Trinamool Congress government of hiding MLA accused of sexual assault, says CPI from Kozhikode. प्रधानमंत्री मोदी चर्चा में होंगे शामिल। वंदे मातरम को इस साल हुए हैं 150 वर्ष पूरे। अमेरिका की मादुरो से देश छोड़कर जाने की पेशकश मुलिन से। मादुरो ने कथित रूप से प्रस्ताव को ठुकरा दिया। अब लोक भवन तमिलनाडु के नाम से जाना जाएगा। ट्रंप वेनेजुएला पर लगाते रहे हैं ड्रग तस्करों का आरोप। वेनेजुएला ने हमेशा ही ट्रंप के आरोपों को किया खारिज। ड्रग कॉर्टेल के खिलाफ अमेरिका ने महीनों से छेड़ रखी है लड़ाई। तीन दिसंबर 2026 कार्यक्रम की अध्यक्षता करेंगे भारत के चुनाव आयुक्त ज्ञानेश कुमार। अमेरिका के वेनेजुएला के निकट घेरा किया तंग। कार्यक्रम में 35 सदस्य लेंगे भाग। भारत इंटरनेशनल आइडिया के स्थापना सदस्य है। वेनेजुएला के ऊपर हवाई क्षेत्र पूरी तरह। ट्रंप के कदम से वेनेजुएला के भीतर जमीनी हमले के संकेत। डिजिटल अरेस्ट मामलों की जांच सीबीआई करेगी, सुप्रीम कोर्ट से। 5 mistakes bond investors should avoid. Many investors solely focuses on yields while comparing bonds for investment. They ignore factors like credit ratings that may hit impact investment outcomes. Here are the key mistakes bond investors should avoid. Ignore credit ratings. Bonds with higher credit risk usually offer high yields to investors to compensate for taking higher risk. This refers to the probability of a bond issuer failing to make timely interest payments or repay the principal. Investors can assess this risk by referring to the credit ratings assigned by credit rating agencies like CRISIL and ICRA. Motor insurance, when service ends after sale, the calls are relentless, the persuasion tireless, and the promises glowing. But once you sign up for the policy, you find yourself in communication black hole with your calls and emails ignored. Communicate in writing, and email or WhatsApp proof is essential. Court IRDA turnaround times for claims, their websites and your policy copy will have them. Escalate delays or non-response to the insurer's grievance redressal officer, their websites and their policy copy will have them. Have you noticed how an insurance agent or call center executive never lets go when they want to sell you a policy or renewal? The calls are relentless, the persuasion tireless, and the promises glowing. But sign up for the policy and suddenly you are in a communication black hole. Phone don't get picked, emails disappear into the void. That may sound harsh, but the frustration is widespread and growing. Recently, a senior retired insurance executive wrote on LinkedIn about his experience as a motor insurance customer. His two cars were insured through a broker belonging to the same conglomerate, the manufacturers and sales that brand of vehicle. Everything should have been seamless, smooth and professional. Instead, it unfolded like an existential satire. He emailed them regarding a requirement related to the issuance of the policy as there was no direct line to speak to anyone. He did receive a response, but before he could even read an email, another message arrived declaring that his service request had been resolved and closed. When he responded with the information they had asked for, a second a second service ticket was opened saying the concerned team was working on it and the ticket was closed within 24 hours. Portfolio rebalancing benefits. We have discussed earlier the essence of managing your portfolio is the allocation to various investment assets, that is equity, debt, gold, and etc. As per your investment objectives, risk appetite and investment horizon, we have also discussed earlier your investment portfolio. Once constructed, you should be reviewed from time to time. There is no defined frequency for review. It may be, say, quarterly or no, or on major market events. Today we will discuss portfolio rebalancing, which is modifying a portfolio upon a review. A portfolio review, as the term suggests, is a review. It need not necessarily lead to changes in your portfolio. People have mindset that in a review, keep the funds or investment that are doing well and weed out the ones that are not doing well. However, that is only a minor purpose of a portfolio review. Investments or funds that are not doing well need not be eliminated immediately. They should be given adequate time to perform. Rather, if there is any significant change in your fundamental, that is increase in earning, change in family, that is marriage, birth, death, etc., are events that should be the major considerations of a portfolio review. Rebalancing is tweaking your portfolio composition, all sum by sum. The print is a review, is a check whether your portfolio needs any tweaks. But a review did not necessarily lead to changes. When you make changes to your portfolio, that is rebalancing. Portfolio rebalancing has certain powerful benefits that are not so well appreciated. Let us say you intended to construct a portfolio of 60% equity, 30% debt, and 10% gold over a period of time. The equity market performed well and your allocation ratio changed to 70% in equity and relatively lesser in the other assets. Debt also gave return in this period, but less than equity, hence the ratio of debt became lesser. Since 60 to 70% is a significant deviation, you do a rebalancing of your portfolio. You sell some equity components, bring it to 60% and increase the allocation to other assets to bring those to 40%. We all know that no one can call the peak of the market, that is when you should book profits. In portfolio rebalancing, you are reducing your allocation to the asset that has run up and thereby you are booking profits. You will do this when that investment has run up. Hence, you may not be catching the peak but doing it during the bull run. The counter argument is after you book partial profits to come back to the intended allocation, that asset may run up further. As an example, equity may extend the relay, which you will miss partially to the extent you have exited. It is here you have to understand that the market is not in your control, only your portfolio is. If you do not do the rebalancing when you require, you would be running a higher risk than your appetite. Similarly, when a set has not done well, you would buy more at lower levels during rebalancing. In our illustration, if equity market is going through a correction and your allocation to equity has reduced to 50% and that and gold allocation has increased to 50% on moderate return, it is time for rebalancing. When you are buying more equity to bring it back to 60%, you are buying equity or relatively lower prices. While balancing your portfolio, look at it in totality. As an illustration, your debt allocation is not just your debt and mutual funds but also your bank deposits, EPF, PPF, etc. Gold jewelry is meant for consumption, that is wearing though it has financial worth. It is not usually meant for selling or booking profits. The 10% allocation to gold mentioned earlier should be in gold ETFs or gold funds of mutual funds or sovereign gold bonds in the next bull or bear run in equity. You should take rebalancing action as discussed. US rate cut hope propels gold, silver. Precious metals witnessed a yo-yo journey. In November, with both gold and silver losing ground in the middle of the month, only to recover and close on a positive note by November end. The soft US labor data, along with the expectation of further interest rate cuts in US, provoked by the sentiment towards precious metals in the past few decades. COMEX gold zoomed and managed to settle above the psychological 4200 mark dollars at $4,256.4 by the end of the November. This represents a gain of 6.05%. COMEX silver saw a better show and managed to hit a fresh 52-week high. The white metal gained 18.31% in November and settled at a fresh lifetime high of $57.08. Consolidation phase. लोकसभा में इस हफ्ते के अंत में वंदे मातरम के लिए चर्चा के 10 घंटे का समय हुआ आवंटित। इमरान खान का अब तक पता नहीं। नरेंद्र मोदी चर्चा में होंगे शामिल। वंदे भारत की चर्चा में शामिल होंगे नरेंद्र मोदी। वंदे भारत को इस साल हुए हैं 150 वर्ष पूरे। इमरान खान की सेहत को लेकर अटकलें तेज। तमिलनाडु राजभवन का नाम बदला, अब लोक भवन तमिलनाडु के नाम से जाना जाएगा। बेटों ने सरकार से जिंदा होने का फिर से कोर्ट के आदेश के बावजूद कोर्ट के आदेश परिवार से मिलने की अनुमति नहीं। महीनों से इमरान खान से कोई वेरीफाइड कांटेक्ट नहीं। कुछ ऐसा हो गया है जिसे ठीक नहीं कहा जा सकता, परिवार से। 3 दिसंबर 2026 को स्वीडन के स्टॉकहोम में होगा कार्यक्रम। सरकार का दावा, इमरान खान पूरी तरह से स्वस्थ है। इमरान खान पर दर्जनों हमले, 2023 से जेल में बंद। इमरान खान जिंदा या मुर्दा, अब तक सरकार ने पेश नहीं की सबूत। कार्यक्रम में 35 सदस्यीय देश लेंगे भाग। भारत इंटरनेशनल आइडिया का स्थापना दिवस। सरकार खान के स्वस्थ होने का दोहरा रही है बयान। इमरान खान जिंदा या मुर्दा। हरिंदर सिंह ने भारतीय महिला हॉकी टीम चीफ कोच हरिंदर सिंह ने निजी कारणों से पद छोड़ा। डिजिटल अरेस्ट धोखाधड़ी मामले में सुप्रीम कोर्ट का बड़ा आदेश। कोर्ट के आदेश के बावजूद परिवार से की मिलने की अनुमति नहीं। इमरान खान डिजिटल अरेस्ट मामलों की जांच सीबीआई करेगी। नाउ एजुकेशन प्लस, repair those rifts by integrating health humanities into the medical curriculum is vital. In India, health humanities is often a part of humanities departments where discourse frequently slips into romance rather than rigor. One stand glorifies pre-modern practices are claiming ancestors lived flawlessly and modernity ruined everything, ignoring life expectancy data. Another upholds pseudo-scientific tradition as resistance to colonialism. Both overlook the epistemological foundations of evidence-based healthcare. The rightful place for health humanities lies in medical colleges, where humanities scholars and practitioners work together, guided by science, committed to equity and ethical practice, and attentive to what Paulo Freire described as critical consciousness, leading to enhanced understanding of lived realities and possible solutions at a crossroads. In India, health humanities is at the In India, health humanities is at the crossroads where inequality, cultural taboos, and poor communication continue to impact healthcare amid rapid advancements in healthcare practices. Fear of medical procedure, lack of transparency, and heavy cost push many patients towards pseudoscientific and faith healing practices. Integrating health humanities in medical education is vital to restore human dignity through ethics and equity. Professor Satyaraj, the son of NIT, Ruchi notes a contrast in the function of health humanities in English and cultural studies departments and medical colleges. While humanities departments study illness as a cultural narrative, medical schools emphasize observation, clinical empathy, and communication as humanities components in healthcare education. The way forward is to combine these strands so that cultural analysis informs scientific care and exposure to clinical realities defines cultural discourses on healthcare. India's medical curriculum can draw a global models. Columbia University's narrative medicine trains in listening beyond symptoms. Stanford Fayer's literature and bioethics to examine autonomy and justice. King's College London blends philosophy and history to debate resources allocation and end-of-life care. These efforts show how science directs care and humanistic training restores social and ethical context. Marginalized groups bear heavier disease burden yet receive less care. At a recent conference, Dr. Sichidesh PR from Nimhans, Bengaluru suggested reading healthcare in India using Thom's Piketty's equity lens showing how inherited inequality sustains deprivation and how treatment costs push families into poverty. At the other hand, affluent Indians flying abroad for treatment signals eroding trust in the domestic healthcare industry. Taboos around reproductive health and mental illness still impede access to quality healthcare. Recently, the Medical Council introduced electives in health humanities. The National Medical Commission included attitude, ethics, and communication in the curriculum, while some students agree that these courses renewed their sense of purpose. Many colleges that them treat them as a checkbox. Integrating humanist, social, socio-cultural, and economic inquiry into the medical curriculum remains a distant dream. A stumbling block in achieving this vision is the incompatibility among disciplines. Some humanities scholars view tech-driven healthcare advancements as dehumanizing, and some doctors dismiss humanistic inquiry as unscientific and absurd. Such resistance places a Such resistance places the humanities and medical sciences as varying fraction and impedes meaningful collaboration. The issue is human choices, not technology. AI, telehealth, and genomics can exclude or empower. Dr. Mayur was of St. John's Medical College, Bengaluru, argues that including history, bioethics, and social medicine can bridge contrasting disciplines in humanities in medical education. Rajiv Mahajan and Tajinder Singh call for deeper engagement with equity, culture, and scientific temper. A new framework considering the Indian context and diverse viewpoints. We propose a five-module framework, a critical history of healthcare disparities to explore how caste, gender, class, and wealth shape healthcare solutions, illness narratives across cultures to engage with the differences in lived experiences of conditions like Alzheimer's and depression among allied patients and the privileged, communicating science in diverse contexts to prepare doctors to counter misinformation and work across languages, and anthropology of healthcare technology that situates healthcare advancements in their social settings and ethics of healthcare technologies that weights the consequences of tools such as AI and gene editing. These modules must be rigorous and experimental and reinforced through fieldwork, outcome reviews, and work with advocacy groups with patient voices at the center. When implemented effectively, it equips doctors to confront science and stigma and to join global control, conversational linking medicine, anthropology, ethics, technology, and democratize access to healthcare. Health humanities must move beyond English departments and become an integral part of medical colleges, where humanities scholars can work in tandem with medical practitioners. This integration can help India produce clinicals who heal disease and discrimination and repair rifts between science and society, technology and humanity. Will not indulge in factional politics, Karnataka Deputy CM says from Bengaluru. From Karnataka Deputy Chief Minister DK Shivakumar, we are all working together. People of Karnataka have a lot of expectation from us and we have to fulfill their aspirations. Our goal is 2028 election from Bengaluru.
The Bluetooth device is ready to pair. The Bluetooth device is ready to pair.
Welcome to rock music.
Bluetooth mode.
will not indulge in factional politics, Karnataka Deputy CM says from Bengaluru. A day after a breakfast meeting with Chief Minister Siddharth Maya that has, for now, was the talk and was the talk on leadership and rotation of power in Karnataka Congress. Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivakumar on Sunday said that he would not indulge in factional politics and backstabbing. He also claimed that he had no differences with the Chief Minister. I have never indulged in factional politics, though I can take 8 to 10 MLAs with me. I don't do it, I go to Delhi alone. As KPCC president, I have to take everyone along. Even in Kumaraswamy government, I was sincere. Mr. Kumaraswamy's father knows the effort I have put in to save the government. My brand of politics is direct. He told press person here, we are all working together. People of Karnataka have a lot of expectation from us and we have to fulfill their aspiration. Our goal is 2028 election. Mr. Shiva Kumar said after weeks of heightened factional politics that so activities both in Delhi and Bengaluru, the Chief Minister and Deputy Chief Minister met for breakfast on Saturday after being nursed by the High Command to sort out differences and public statements by their respective followers that could damage the party. However, it is being seen as a temporary truce ahead of winter session of Parliament and the winter session of the state legislature, refusing to reveal the contents of his discussion with AICC General Secretary Organization K.C. Venugopal. He said, I have discussed with everyone. I will not discuss in public what transpired at the meeting. राजभवन का नाम भी लोक भवन रखा गया। भारत को मिली नई जिम्मेदारी। वैश्विक लोकतांत्रिक मंच इंटरनेशनल की अध्यक्षता करेंगे ज्ञानेश कुमार। 3 दिसंबर 2026 को स्वीडन कार्यक्रम की अध्यक्षता करेंगे भारत के चुनाव आयुक्त ज्ञानेश कुमार। कार्यक्रम में 35 सदस्य देश होंगे शामिल। भारत इंटरनेशनल आइडिया का स्थापना। हरिंदर सिंह ने भारतीय महिला हॉकी टीम के मुख्य कोच पद से दिया इस्तीफा। चीफ कोच हरिंदर सिंह ने निजी कारणों से पद छोड़ा। डिजिटल अरेस्ट धोखाधड़ी मामले में सुप्रीम कोर्ट का बड़ा आदेश। नेशनल हेराल्ड में घोटाला। नेशनल हेराल्ड केस में फिर फंसा गांधी परिवार। 50 लाख देकर कैसे मिली 2000 करोड़ की संपत्ति। मणिपुर माल और सेवा कर विधेयक 2025 लोकसभा में पारित। नवंबर में जीएसटी कलेक्शन में 0.7% की बढ़ोतरी। ईडी का बड़ा एक्शन, गांधी परिवार में टेंशन। बंगाल एसआईआर गणना में 1.25 करोड़ एंट्री। बीजेपी ने 1.25 करोड़ एंट्री के ऑडिट की मांग की। शुभेंदु अधिकारी ने पॉलिटिकल कंसल्टेंसी एजेंसी पीएससी पर लगाए। एसआईआर प्रोसेस के दौरान डेटा एंट्री प्रोसेस में दखल दे रही है एजेंसी, शुभेंदु अधिकारी से। ₹50 लाख देकर कैसे मिली 2000 करोड़ की संपत्ति? चर्चा के लिए 10 घंटे का समय हुआ आवंटित। प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी चर्चा में होंगे शामिल। ईडी का बड़ा एक्शन, गांधी परिवार में टेंशन। वंदे मातरम के इस साल हुए हैं 150 वर्ष पूरे। मोदी urges people to take part in Kashi Tamil Sangam. It will help strengthen the spirit of It will help strengthen the spirit of Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat. He says in Mann Ki Baat address, PM highlights the record production of food grains. Every time I see the dedication of our youth and the spirit of commitment of our scientists, my heart fills up with enthusiasm. This very dedication of the youth is one of the greatest strengths of Viksit Bharat. Narendra Modi, present PM, shares from New Delhi, describing Tamil as the pride of India. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Sunday asked people to participate in the upcoming Kashi Tamil Sangam as part of the endeavor to strengthen the spirit of Ek Bharat, Shresth Bharat, One India, Great India. Tamil culture is great. Tamil language is great. Tamil is the pride of India. Mr. Modi shared in Tamil in his Mann Ki Baat address the fourth Kashi Tamil Sangam organized on the theme Learn Tamil curriculum. Commences on December 2 at Namo Ghat in Kashi. Recounting various recent events, Mr. Modi noted that on November 26, a special event was held in the Central Hall of Samvidhan Sadan, the old Parliament House, on Constitution Day. The 150th anniversary of Vande Mataram marked the beginning of an array of nationwide programs. Food grain production. Mr. Modi shared the country has set a historic record with food grain production of 357 million tons, an increase of 100 million tons in 10 years. India being declared the host of Commonwealth Games is another major achievement. We recently inaugurated the world's largest leading edge aviation propulsion engine maintenance, repair and overhaul MRO facility in Hyderabad, marking a significant step in augmenting India's aircraft maintenance and repair capability. Last week, the indigenously designed INS Mahe was inducted into the Navy. People in Puducherry and the Malabar coast were delighted by the name of the vessel itself. Many in Kerala and Tamil Nadu noted that the warship's crest resembles the traditional flexible sword of Urumi and Kalaria Patu, shared Mr. Modi. He underscored the importance of private space companies, Skyroot's Infinity campuses in giving a fresh boost of India's space ecosystem. He also mentioned a challenge organized by Indian Space Research Organization to fly drones in conditions similar to that of Mars, where GPS navigation is not possible and drones would suddenly fall to the ground. The drones had to fly with the help of their cameras and inbuilt software. He shared praising a team from Pune that succeeded in flying its drone in such conditions for some duration after multiple attempts. Winter tourism, drawing attention to winter tourism, Mr. Modi asked people to visit the Himalayan valleys. He shared This season, Uttarakhand attracted a lot of people. He said the Winter Games would be organized there soon. The Wedding India campaign had also picked up in winter. He noted on Navy-related tourism. He mentioned museum in Gujarat, Diu and Goa, and those located in IS Dronacharya Fort Kochi, Samudrika Naval Marine Museum in Srivapuram, formerly known as Port Blair, Rabindranath Tagore Beach in Coward and Visakhapatnam. 5 killed as truck runs over vehicles in Bihar from Motihari. Don't blame linguistic decline on English education, RS Chief says from Mumbai. Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh Chief Mohan Bhagwat on Sunday expressed concern about the decline in the use of mother tongues in India, saying some Bharatiya people in India don't know their own languages and nowadays children mix their mother tongue and English while speaking. Speaking at the release of Sri Dhyaneshwari, the English version of a Marathi book authored by Sant Dhanyaneshwar in Nagpur, Mr. Bhagwat asked people to think about the decline of linguistic heritage. American teaches Sanskrit. We should be the ones to teach Sanskrit to the world, but it is happening otherwise. Children don't know their mother tongue and speak what they learn at home. They don't know simple words because they are not habitual for them, he added. Mr. Bhagwat said that English medium education is not to be blamed, but rather the languages used in the home. Despite knowing the language, we don't use it correctly. For what reason? He asked. Translation impact, discussing the richness of Indian languages. Mr. Bhagwat said that English doesn't have enough words to capture the depth of the thought of Dhanyaneshwar. He expressed the hope that such translated books could motivate people to read Indian language books and learn the Indian language as well. Assam CM is stoking conflict, says Kong leader from party. J&K new law allows 24 into 7 functioning of business. The Jammu and Kashmir government on Sunday began implementing new laws that allow business establishments to function round the clock in a union territory. The announcement was made by Deputy Chief Minister Surinder Chaudhary at a one-day conference in Jammu on empowered labor force. Transforming challenges into opportunities, he termed the recently introduced J&K Shops and Establishments Bill 2025 as a historic reform involving major steps towards economic revitalization. The bill was passed by J&K Assembly in October. 11 illegal immigrants pushed back from Assam, says CM. Officials, residents of Ladakh L&G renamed as Lok Nivas. Foreign officials, residents of Ladakh L&G renamed as Lok Nivas. Ladakh's Raj Nivas, the official residence and office of the Lieutenant Governor, has been renamed Lok Nivas. A historic moment for Ladakh. Raj Nivas has been officially renamed as Lok Nivas on Sunday, symbolizing our deep commitment to people-centric governance and inclusive development. Office of the Lieutenant Governor posted on X. The post was accompanied by a photograph of Lieutenant Governor Kavindra Gupta standing beside the newly installed nameplate bearing the charged name and the main entrance. Officials said the renaming reflects the administration resolve to strengthen direct engagement with citizens. Foreign investors withdrew 3,765 crore rupees from equities in November. New finds highlight Great Nicobar projects, sites biodiversity, a new species of snake with only for records till date, and a potentially new species of bird photographed only thrice in over a decade, are among the latest finds from the site of the Great Nicobar Island mega infrastructure project. Described in number, the two are among the nearly 40 new species reported from here since 2021. These include two species of frogs, four crabs, two geckos, and a number of insects, including flies, moths, and beetles. Nearly half of these have been described in 2025 alone. Restricted range, given the snake's rarity, its sharply restricted range, and potential threats, the researchers have recommended that it be classified as endangered under the International Union for Conservation of Nature Red List criteria. It is from the same east coast of Great Nicobar that borders by Seti and Nikuseti from Delhi. Vikram Singh from Port Blair had recently published a paper on the Great Nicobar crab. Writing in the journal Indian Birds, the authors note that very little is known of its biology, distribution or population status, and suggest this could be a new species given the distinctive set of morphological features including several novel birds, exceeding 100 species of fauna. Great Nicobar Island is reported to have 650 species of plants and over 1800 species of fauna. The region also boasts of remarkable genetic biodiversity exhibiting about 24% endemism among some faunal groups. The regular discovery of new species, including the latest finds, highlight the island's rich biodiversity. I am delighted to hear of the new snake and of a new species of crab that has been tentatively described from Great Nicobar, and said Shad Ramani, prominent archaeologist and former director of the Bombay Natural History Society. Great Nicobar has perhaps the finest tropical rainforest left in India, and this calls for its total protection. Dr. Rahman Reddy. 8 Gen TV 5 Tamil Nadu shows the way again. The Tamil Nadu model will help in TB control just as it helped cut HIV infection in the 1990s. On World AIDS Day, today December 1, let us rewind to the mid 1980s. When acquired immunodeficiency syndrome AIDS caused by the human immunodeficiency virus HIV was devastating a whole generation of young adults in southern and eastern African nations. Many countries in this region had prevalence rates that were in double digits. With no treatment at that time, almost everyone infected with HIV developed AIDS in a few years, and opportunist infections such as tuberculosis or diarrhea, which resulted in high level of mortality. By the early 90s, India was in a similar situation with HIV prevalent in almost all parts of the country, though below 1% of the adult population, mainly transmitted through unprotected heterosexual sexual sex except in a few northeastern states where it was transmitted through the sharing of needles by youngsters addicted to narcotic drugs. The TNSACS model, the government of India responded quickly and launched the National AIDS Control Project in 1992 with a soft loan of $84 million from the World Bank. Every state government set up an AIDS cell in respective medical directorates, but fund flow through the central and then the state government machinery was very slow. A solution was found in 1994 by Tamil Nadu. The state aid cell was converted into a registered society named the Tamil Nadu State AIDS Control Society or TNSAC. Under the Societies Registration Act, this facilitated a direct fund flow to TNSACS with a fair degree of autonomy in implementation with no cure or even treatment for HIV at that time, quickly raising awareness among the adult population through targeted campaigns was the best strategy. This led to a steep drop in new infection and a plateauing of cumulative infection in Tamil Nadu, once considered a hotspot for HIV infection. On witnessing the success of this model, the Government of India and the World Bank mandated the Tamil Nadu model for all the states in the second National AIDS Control Project 1997 to 2002. Soon every state converted its AIDS cell into an AIDS control society and launched various awareness campaigns. As a result, India's adult HIV prevalence rate came down from a peak of 0.54% in the year 2000 to a low of 0.22% now. The 2025 Global TB report of the World Health Organization WHO paints a grim picture for India. 25% of the total number of people infected with TB globally, 26 million, are in India. Compare this with the numbers for the AIDS epidemic, 7.5% of the global total number of people living with HIV, 40 million, are in India. TB is the most common opportunistic infection in HIV infected people, accounting for 25% of AIDS death in India. Further, India also has 25% of the global total number of people infected with multi-drug resistant tuberculosis. The response to the AIDS and TB epidemic, while the global target date for elimination of TB in 2030, India has set an ambitious target of achieving this by 2025, 5 years ahead of the global target data, though this target has not been achieved in India as the year 2025 is coming to a close. The pace of decline in new TB cases is fast in India when compared to the global level. The Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India has accorded very high priority for the testing and reporting of TB infection in achieving the eradication of TB from India. This is critical, especially in view of the HIV, TB co-infection and high TB cases in India. The Pradhan Mantri TB Mukt Bharat Abhiyan PMTBMBA supports the treatment of TB patients and support of the community and corporate social responsibility programs. Replication in other states, as in the case of almost all social and economic indicators, there is wide variation among the states of India and TB infections also. Just 5 states, Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Bihar and Rajasthan, account for 56% of the total TB infection reported in India during 2024. Tamil Nadu has become the first state in the country to integrate a model which predicts the possibility of TB deaths among patients with an existing statewide application which screens them at diagnosis. The model developed by the Indian Council of Medical Research, National Institute of Epidemiology, will aid the state in bringing down the TB mortality rate, while screening with rapid test kits remains the first step, followed by reporting, starting treatment, nutrition support in that order. Tamil Nadu has used ICMR NIE software to reduce the TB burden in the state. The State National Health Mission team and the central government's state TB office work closely as partners with the same goal, which rapid adoption of technologies and an efficient government delivery system of Tamil Nadu are the best model for eradication of TB in India in the next few years, just as the AIDS epidemic was controlled in India in the late 1990s and early 2000 by adopting the TNACS model. 2034-2036, India is trying to showcase Ahmedabad's sports infrastructure in Olympics bid. Exactly 2 decades after hosting in Madden Commonwealth Games, India will welcome the quadrennial extravagances. Extravaganza ceremony addition to its stores in 2030. Tough choices. The Congress's trouble in Karnataka are symptomatic of a deeper malaise. Institutionalizing animal representation. Manika Sanjay Gandhi is a chairperson, People for Animals and a former member of Parliament, Bharatiya Janata Party. Any meaningful conversation about the political representation of animals must begin by challenging the deep anthropocentric assumption embedded in modern political thought. The core issue is not just purity but also the structural design of democracy itself, built on a rigid division between the human and the animal. This foundational split, the original political boundary, positions the animal as the non-subject as it is non-rational, non-political and being reduced to mere life. Across history, this single simplified category of the animal has collapsed a vast plurality of non-human words into a negative mirror against which human superiority is defined. Language, reason, and political agency were claimed for humans by denying these to others. This act of categorical othering is what enables the institutionalized exploitation of non-human beings today. And artificiality of division, the task therefore is to expose the artificiality of this division. Animals are not a homogeneous mass, but a heterogeneous multiplicity of beings whose lives impose distinct moral and political obligations. The problem we face is not a deficit of compassion, but a structural flaw. Democratic institutions treat animals as property, creating an institutional vacuum where their interests are never represented, measured or defended. This legal erasure is the root of systematic violence. Politically, this means that animals cannot remain passive object of charity. Their lives place a demand on the political community. They make humans morally and politically accountable. Representation is not about granting animals anthropocentric rights such as voting. It is about formalizing the representation of absolute vulnerability and unchosen dependency within democratic decision making. This reframes the human role from benevolent caretaker to responsible political steward whose decisions about land, food system, environment and security must be justified in the light of animal trust. The basis for representation therefore is sentience and embodiment, not cognitive capacity. This requires creating fiduciary institutions or guardians whose sole democratic mandate is to articulate these interests in legislative and administrative processes. The long-standing strategy of inquiring non-human animals to prove that they are like us to deserve protection is flawed and discriminatory. It evaluates the worth of species by how closely they mirror human abilities and impossible and biased standard that would exclude most life forms from political standing. Representation must be grounded in morally relevant capacity shared across species rather than human-centric criteria. So the foundation follows the need for institutions designed majoritarian democracy by its nature cannot represent animals. They have no electoral power, no lobbying influence, and no economic leverage. Democratic legitimacy therefore requires non-majoritarian pathways of representation, fiduciary institution or guardians whose sole mandate is to articulate animals' interests within legislative, administrative and regulatory processes. This mirrors the existing mechanisms that represent humans which cannot represent themselves, including institutions for children's rights, environmental protection, data protection, and future generations. The same logic must now extend to animal species analogues to the existing fiduciary institutions designed to protect diffuse vulnerable interests that cannot speak for themselves, such as children's rights, environmental protection agencies, or data protection authorities. The same logic needs to be extended to animals. Institutional representation is necessary because animal interests are systematically overridden by powerful economic and political actors. Animals cannot lobby, mobilize, or legitimate without human intermediary. The current welfare frameworks are reactive, not proactive. Political representation must ensure ex ante protection before harm occurs. Animal representation requires independence because governments cannot credibly commit to protecting animal interests when those very governments benefit from animal exploitation through tax revenue, agricultural subsidies, and political support from agribusiness. This mining animal interest requires scientific expertise in ecology, cognition, and welfare science. Domains where majoritarian processes are inadequate, just as modern democracies create non-majoritarian institutions to protect diffuse vulnerable interests that cannot represent themselves. Children's rights agencies, environmental protection agencies, and data protection authorities. The same logic must extend to animals. Advisory committees controlled by industry representatives cannot protect animal interests. Neither can people appointed through standard political channels. What is needed is structural independence with constitutional protection, enforcement powers, and accountability mechanisms that prevent capture by economic interest. Humans as accountable trustees, fiduciaries, institutions for animals should be built on a simple idea. Humans act as accountable trustees. Their job is to protect the interest of the animal with care, loyalty and prudence. This shifts the model from lobbying to genuine guardianship where representatives speak impartially for animals' vulnerability-based needs. For this to work, these institutions must be operationally independent with fixed terms, transparent and diverse appointments, and their own budgets so that they are insulted from political pressure and cannot be captured by powerful interests. The Supreme Court of India created such an institution for elements having understood that elephants were vulnerable to the extreme and the hundreds will be killed in captivity. In captivity, the court created a high-powered committee to look into the well-being and possible rescue of individual animals The committee is headed by a retired Supreme Court judge and has senior officer in it. It has an enormous powers, but alas, it has degenerated into a committee that meets in different places across India, puts off decisions till it meets again in yet another exotic locale. A year ago, I had sent a list of 19 elephants with proof, tortured and beaten by their owners. No decision has been taken on even one. They have died. This is yet another example of a so-called fiduciary institution which does not take itself seriously. Running the operation, animal representation bodies should operate at three levels of government. At the executive level, advisory council can review proposed rules for animal welfare impact. In Parliament, dedicated committees or subcommittees can examine legislation that affects animals, purpose amendments, and demand impact assessment. Non-voting delegates or expert representatives should be integrated into parliamentary processes, ensuring that animal interests are considered at the core of lawmaking without disrupting democratic voting structure, similar to how fiscal oversight bodies operate. To prevent these systems from becoming dependent on individual personalities, they must run on clear, rule-based procedures. Reviews should be automatically triggered whenever a policy is likely to affect animals. Welfare impacts should be assessed through standard scientific metrics and published transparently. Appointments should be based on expertise, with fixed terms and rotation to avoid capture. This converts goodwill-based advocacy into predictable institutional routines. Strong accountability systems should be in place to ensure that these bodies function with integrity. Horizontal checks should complement vertical oversight by elected bodies. Independent annual audits should evaluate performance against clear welfare benchmarks such as reductions in preventable harms, making audit findings should be made public. Transparency is central. All decisions, reasoning and votes must be published so that the public and civil society can scrutinize them. To prevent rights capture. Institutions should be required to consult diverse stakeholders. Reform must be gradual, start with pilot projects in manageable areas, such as requiring animal impact reviews in urban planning. Use these pilots to refine tools, data systems and protocols. Funding should come from relocated harmful subsidies or ring-fenced public budgets. Public education campaigns should build citizen support and majesty, worship of animals, a democratic responsibility. Institutionalizing animal representation is not an abstract moral project. It is a practical deepening of democracy, one where vulnerable beings that cannot speak are still and accounted for, and where independence, expertise, and accountability replace goodwill or personal influence. Congress discusses central stance on SIR national song. From New Delhi, the parliamentary strategy group of the Congress met on Sunday to follow up on discussions held earlier with the government at an all-party meeting at the Lok Sabha's Business Advisory Committee. Central Citizenship Scrutiny Power is limited, EC says. The EC asserted its authority to assess citizenship for registration in electoral rolls from New Delhi. Opposition's presses, Opposition presses for debate on SIR. No assurance from government from New Delhi. In a sign of frosty beginning of winter session, opposition parties have SIR debate as a non-negotiable condition for smooth functioning of Parliament. Congress and others also want a debate on national security following the recent Bradford. Bangladesh nationals leave India and rising SIR fears. Steady rise in electricity-related fatality rates in India reaches down the drain. संसद स्तर से पहले पीएम मोदी की अपील, चाहे कोई भी दल क्यों ना हो, यह सुनिश्चित करना चाहिए कि सांसदों की नई पीढ़ी सभी राजनीतिक दल राष्ट्रीय हित, रचनात्मक चर्चा और नीति आधारित परिणामों पर केंद्रित रखें। संसद को इस बात पर ध्यान केंद्रित रहना चाहिए कि वह राष्ट्र के लिए क्या कल्पना करती है और राष्ट्र के लिए क्या करना चाहती है। श्री राधाकृष्णन ने संभाली सभापति की कमान, विपक्ष से अपनी लोकतांत्रिक जिम्मेदारी निभाने का आह्वान, विपक्ष को सार्थक और महत्वपूर्ण मुद्दे उठाने के लिए प्रोत्साहित किया। शीतकालीन स्तर में संतुलन, जिम्मेदारी और प्रतिनिधियों से अपेक्षित गरिमा झलकनी चाहिए। Reaches down the drain. Geneva number 30, recession and the energy squeeze are reviving such old fashionable things as glass bottles and cars built to last. And the UN Economic Commission for Europe says there are riches in the refuse that housewives throw down the garbage shoot each day. Censorship in India, London now 26 in the House of Commons. Mr. Senner asked whether private correspondents from Europe and America were still opened and detained by the censor in several post offices in India. Steady rise in electricity-related fatality rates in India. Electricity-related accidents killed over 10,000 people in India in 2023. Electrocution is the primary reason, followed by lightning and electrical fire over the years. Electrical fatality rate, the number of deaths per lakh population, has risen. In 2023, at least one person per lakh population died due to electrical accidents in India, in Japan, Australia, New Zealand and the UK and the US. The electrical fatality rate was between 0.01 and 0.04. Among states, the 4-year average electrical fatality rate varied widely, ranging from as low as 0.2 in some states to as high 2.6 in others. Until 2013, the accidental deaths and suicides in India report showed the breakup of electrical deaths in more than 50 megacities. India needs research pipelines. The countries that turned science into industry did not think well. They matched farm outlays to campus strengths and kept that link steady for years. India will not meet its growth ambitions on public grants alone. The countries that turned science into industry did one thing well. They matched farm outlays to campus strengths and kept that link steady for years. The police question is clear. How do we move private research outlays from episodic corporate social responsibility to a predictable pipeline that buys lab time, funds doctoral cohorts, and books pilot lines, global benchmarks? Leading tech firms run innovation budgets at industrial scale. In 2024, Meta's research outlay reached about $44 billion, near a third of revenue. Alphabet, Amazon, Apple, IBM, and Microsoft also reported multi-billion-dollar program. In the US, enterprise booked roughly $692 billion of domestic research against about $14 trillion in net sales in 2022. A ratio near 5%. Policy instruments translate that investment into campus partnership. The National Science Fundament, the National Science Foundation in Industry, University Cooperative Research Centers pool company fee for pre-competitive university work. The Semiconductor Research Corporation funds multi-university consortia that train talent while tackling industry-relevant problems. China's Huawei reported an R&D expenditure at 179.7 billion yuan in 2024. The Chandigarh question, it demands a political solution, not an administrative procedure. After a political furor, the central government has backed away from introducing a bill to include the Union Territory of Chandigarh under the ambit of Article 240 of Constitution. Software upgrade done on all operational A320 family aircraft aviation regular. Aviation regular DGCA on Sunday said Indian carriers have completed the software upgrades of a serviceable elevator aileron computer on 323 operational Airbus A320 family plans to address a potential issue related to flight controls. Rajasthan revoks controversial order after drawing flag from Jaipur. A controversial order directing all schools in Rajasthan to observe December 6, the day the Babri Masjid was demolished in 1992. As Shaurya Divas was recalled on Sunday by the government after it drew flag from the opposition and Muslim groups. The order released on an official WhatsApp group on Saturday night was recalled citing unavoidable circumstances. Due to unavoidable circumstances, the order has been taken back. The clarification stated, however, the director of the Board of Secondary Education, Sitaram Jat, said, no such direction have been issued to the schools. I don't know how it is being circulated. The Secondary Education Directorate in Bikaner instructed government and private schools to hold cultural programs aimed at enhancing patriotism among students. The directive proposed essay competitions on themes like Indian cultural pride and Ram Mandir movement, tradition of valor and sacrifice, and the role of youth in nation building. Schools were asked to organize painting contest on the Ayodhya Ram Mandir and Indian warriors and display exhibition on the Ram temple. 37 Maoists surrender in Chhattisgarh's Dantewada from Raipur. JMK government suspends VPN services in two districts close to LOC from Jammu. Israeli Prime Minister seeks pardon from graft charges. Kong calls new National Herald FIR bogus. BJP hits back from New Delhi. Following reports that the Delhi police have registered a new case against Congress Parliamentary Party Chairperson Sonia Gandhi, leaders of the opposition in the Lok Sabha, Rahul Gandhi and others in National Herald issued the party on Sunday termed the first information report FIR related. It further alleged that the Modi Shah duo was continuing its mischievous politics of harassment, intimidation and vendetta against the party leadership. However, the BJP dismissed the claims as baseless and false. The economic offences wing of the Delhi police has registered the case based on the enforcement director's complaint. The FIR purportedly named Suman Dubey, Sampayoda, chairman of Indian Overseas Congress, Young Indian Protection, merchandise with Indari and associate journalist which owns National Herald. Mischievous politics. BJP MP Ravi Shankar Prasad says when a complaint was filed, they went for fishing, but the Delhi High Court dismissed the petition. The top court also said that they would have to face trial. Congress MP Jairam Ramesh says the Modi Shah duo is continuing with its mischievous politics, harassment, intimidation and Vedanta against the top leaders of the Congress. head-on collision between two buses in Tamil Nadu leaves 11 dead, 50 injured. Stalin announces solidium of 3 lakh rupees to the families of the deceased injured being treated at hospitals in Karaikuli, Tirupattur. Primarily, props suggest both buses were speeding from Shivaganga. Judgments must not be tossed out after their authors retire. From New Delhi, Justice B.V. Nagaratna of the Supreme Court has said judgments are not written in sand but in ink and should not be tossed out by subsequent benches once the judges who authored them have retired. The words of the lone woman judge in the Supreme Court follow recent overruling of judgment by subsequent benches. One of the cases in point is the recent overturning of the Vana Shakti judgment, which had stopped the practice of ex post facto environmental clearances. Justice Nagartana, speaking at an event, said the legal fraternity and governance framework have to respect judgments for what they are and only challenge them through the established process of law. Judgments cannot be discarded merely because faces have changed. The views of Justice Nagaratna coincided with the observations made by a Supreme Court bench headed by Justice Dipankar Datta about this trend of overruling judgments following the retirement of their authors in the recent past. We have rather painfully observed a growing trend in this court, of which we too are an indispensable part of verdicts pronounced by judges, whether still in office or not, and irrespective of the time lapse since pronounced being overturned by succeeding benches or specially constituted benches at the B has stopped some party agreed by the verdict's prior point of time. Justice Jata's bench had observed in a judgment. Justice Nagarasna fashioned that judicial independence warranted judgments to remain anchored in time and challenged in accordance with the traditions embedded in law. Personal conduct, Justice Nagarasna also added that personal conduct of judges also contributed to the protection of judicial independence. Political insularity was critical to judicial independence. Judicial independence is ultimately conviction, courage, and independence of individual judges who decide matters before a court of law, she shared. Cyclone Ditwa. Cyclone Ditwa weakens 3 die in Tamil Nadu, according to a press conference in the State Emergency Operations Center. Mr. Rama Chandran said that due to heavy rain, crops in about 56,000 hectares in various districts are underwater. Once the water recedes, officials will calculate the actual damage and Chief Minister M.K. Stalin will decide on announcing compensation for the damages incurred by farmers. The minister said in response to query later in day. He said compensation could be granted only if the loss of crops was over 33%. The Air Force moved about 300 National Disaster Response Force personnel from Maharashtra and Gujarat to Chennai. In a social media post, Mr. Stalin said an IAFC 17 has airlifted NDRF teams and equipment from Pune and Vadodara to Chennai, enabling rapid deployment of over 300 NDRF personnel and around 35 tons of essential gear. With the arrival of 10 additional teams, 38 teams are now ready across Tamil Nadu and will be deployed to areas on the basis of their need, Mr. Ramchandran said. About 230 huts have been damaged due to The rain, he said, as of Sunday morning, over 2,300 people have been accommodated in a total of 38 relief camps in 9 districts of Tamil Nadu, 10 campuses in Nagapattinam district, 9 in Pudukkottai, 7 in Viluppuram, 4 in Thiruviram, 2 each in Mayiladuthurai, Ramanathapuram and Thanavur and 1 in each of the Channalangapattu and Ranipet. The Tamil Nadu government is coordinating with other government agencies to ensure the safe return of people from the state who are stranded in Sri Lanka, the minister said. They are expected to reach on Sunday. He said, Mr. Ramachandran said that the situation was under control and has not gone beyond our hands. He told press persons that normalcy was expected to return on Monday morning. Israeli Prime Minister seeks pardon from graft charges. The request comes weeks after US President Donald Trump asked Israel to pardon Mr. Netanyahu. Earlier this month, Mr. Trump also sent a letter to President Herzog calling the corruption case political unjustified prosecution. In a videotaped statement, Mr. Netanyahu said the trial has divided the country and that a pardon would help restore national unity. He also set the requirement that he appear in court 3 times a week is a restriction that makes it difficult for him to lead the country. The constitution of the trial clears as apart from within, stirs up this division and deepens rift. I am sure, like many others in the nation, that an immediate conclusion of the trial would greatly help to lower the flames and promote the broad reconciliation that our country too desperately needs, he said. Mr. Netanyahu has taken the stand multiple times over the past year, but the case has been repeatedly delayed as he has dealt with wars and unrest stemming from the Hamas-led militant attacks of October 2023. How Pakistan's judiciary is being undermined. Why has the 27th Amendment created a new federal constitutional court? Does it curtail the role and powers of Pakistan's Supreme Court? Why did the 26th Amendment mandate? Has the judiciary and the executive faced off before? What is the way forward? On November 22, 13, Pakistan's National Assembly and the Senate passed the 27th Amendment, with the President also giving his assent. While the amendment introduces new provisions in the military command structure, it has far-reaching implications for Pakistan's judiciary. The amendment has created a new federal constitutional court and has curtailed the Supreme Court's role as the custodian of the Constitution, thereby reducing the judiciary independence. 3 judges from the Supreme and High Court have already resigned in protest against the 27th Amendment, while 4 judges from the Islamabad High Court have appealed against it. What are the implications? The 27th Amendment will affect the judiciary's independence in the following ways. First, the creation of a new FCC to address issues relating to the Constitution and federal provincial relations would mean that the Supreme Court would no longer have its original jurisdiction. Thus, the Supreme Court would not hear cases relating to the interpretation of the Constitution, fundamental rights, or questions of federal provincial relation. In recent years, the Supreme Court had used its original jurisdiction to deliberate a few high-profile political developments, including the Panama case, which resulted in the formation of a joint investigation team and the disqualification of Nawaz Sharif and the then Prime Minister 2017 and the Memo Gate, in which Pakistan ambassador to the US was investigated on whether he authored a memo that asked the US to support the civilian government in 2011, then led by the Pakistan People's Party PPP and prevent a cop. Second, the 27th Amendment provides the executive with the power to transfer judges without their consent. Critics of the amendment argue that this provision would enable the executive to transfer judges who do not try its line, though the executive has to follow certain procedures. In fact, it could transfer judges to secure its choice or to penalize those who disagree with it. This would significantly undermine the judiciary's independence at the highest level. The real reason for the creation of an FCC, though the executive is trying to justify it in terms of necessity, is to pick those judges who will be amenable, especially with respect to constitutional matters. The pace at which the FCC's Chief Justice has been appointed, along with other judges, and the space it found for itself in the Islamabad High Court premises, the critics argue is part of a plan to subvert the Supreme Court's overreach on constitutional matters. Third is the effect is the relationship between the FCC and the Supreme Court will have on the judiciary. While a section of judges and lawyers are against the amendment at the FCC, another section has accepted it and is even ready to join it, while senior and former judges have been demanding full court meeting. It did little when it met during the third week of November. Today the FCC already has a Chief Justice and a few other judges. It has also started entertaining cases in the first week of its existence. The judiciary seems divided, and this will only further weaken it. Overall, the 27th Amendment gives the executive and the legislature an edge over the judiciary, thereby undermining the essence of the balance of power in a constitutional democracy. It also undermines one of the crowning success of the 18th Amendment, which aimed to depoliticize the judiciary and make it independent. The 18th Amendment, passed in 2010 by the PPP government, provided for a Judicial Commission of Pakistan to recommend the names of her new judges, thereby giving more space to the judiciary. The 27th Amendment makes it redundant. Why is the government trying to undermine the rule of law? Separation of powers and an independent judiciary are essential for any constitutional democracy, especially Pakistan. Political parties of Pakistan should know this. Given the challenge from the establishment, Pakistan military complex to democracy and its institutions, an independent judiciary will remain the only institution that could protect, if at all, overreach from the establishment. One of the reasons for introducing the amendment has been that it will reduce the caseload of the higher judiciary. However, this argument is flawed, as most delays occur in the lower courts, according to the letter drafted by Judge Manesur Ali Shah, quoting the Law Commission of Pakistan. Of the 2.26 million pending cases, 82% were at the district courts and less than 3% were pending at the Supreme Court. The real motivations of the Pakistan Muslim League government are to clip the wings of the Supreme Court and reduce it to a court of appeals by removing its original jurisdiction. What is the amendment's history? It all started with the 26th Amendment, which was passed by the PML in government in 2024. It altered the composition of the JCP. In 2010, the 18th Amendment had mandated that the JCP be comprised of judges from the Supreme Court and High Courts. The 26th Amendment altered the composition by bringing in more members from the executive. thereby undermining the selection of judges for the higher courts. The JCP now has more members from the political side. The 26th Amendment also granted the JCP the power to appoint constitutional benches, thereby removing the Chief Justice of Pakistan's power to appoint benches. The 26th and 27th Amendment are not the first time that the executive in Pakistan has attempted to undermine the judiciary. The high judiciary's relationship with both the military and political executive has been troubled since Pakistan's independence. During the first 40 decades, the judiciary took a tough pill to defend the unconstitutional actions taken by its military dictators such as Ayub Khan, Yahya Khan and Zia-ul Haq. The Supreme Court invoked the doctrine of necessity to look the other way as military rulers roar up the Constitution. Zia was even quoted as saying that the Constitution was a piece of paper that could be torn at any time. In the 1990s, the judiciary was brought into the center of the power struggle between the president and the prime minister. When the president dismissed the PM backed by establishment, the Supreme Court had to intervene by either justifying the dismissal, Benjamin Bhutto's dismissal in 1996, or by restoring the government, Nawaz Sharif's government in 1993. The judiciary confronted a political executive for the first time in 1996. When Nawaz Sharif tried to remove the Chief Justice, it led to PML and parties storming the Supreme Court, thereby starting an uncomfortable relationship between the two. Later in 2017, the Supreme Court disqualified Nawaz Sharif in the Panama Papers case in an issue that many consider an overreach by the court. Since the confrontation between Justice Iftikhar Chaudhry and President Pervez Musharraf in 2007, which triggered the lawyers' movement, the judiciary has been assertive against both the political executive and the establishment. The judicial assertion reached its peak under the Chief Justice Qazi Isha. Six judges of the Islamabad High Court wrote an open letter complaining of coercion and even intimidation by the intelligence agencies. This might have prompted the military and the political executive to assert control over the judiciary. The 26th Amendment started the process and the 27th has been taken it forward. What next? The FCC has already started functioning. The opposition The opposition and a section of the legal community have warned for a confrontation in the streets. There is also civil society support for maintaining the independence of the higher judiciary. But the two major political parties, the PPP and PMLN, stand together and are supported by the establishment. More importantly, the judiciary stands divided, while a few three so far, including Supreme Court judges Mansur Ali Shah and Athar Milha have resigned, others have agreed to serve on the new FCC. Given the political and social issues facing Pakistan and the questions of accountability, especially in higher institutions, as the recent International Monetary Fund report highlighted, an independent judiciary is essential for Pakistan. Unfortunately, the 27th Amendment undermines that. While Microsoft's new AI features are being criticized, what appeared to trigger many users online was the update about Windows becoming an agentic operating system or an AI-powered system on a device capable of processing natural language commands and taking autonomous action for its users. On November 10, the president for Microsoft Windows Plus devices business, Pawan Daguluri, spotlighted new AI features in Windows and invited users to a digital session as part of Microsoft's Ignite event. However, this company undated posted on the social media platform X instead received hundreds of comments, many of them negative and over a million views before the comment section was locked down. These vehement reactions to the Microsoft executive's announcement revealed a sharp split between the software giant AI roadmap and its customers' demands as Microsoft introduced new AI features over the following days. The negative comments only grew. What AI releases did Microsoft announce along with a link to a company session about Windows? Microsoft 365 Copilot, Secure AI and Agent Productivity. Mr. Devuluri posted Windows is evolving into an agentic OS connecting devices, cloud and AI to unlock intelligent productivity and secure work anywhere. Join us at #msignature to see how frontier firms are transforming with Windows and what's next for the platform. We can't wait to show you. What appeared to trigger many users online was the comment about Windows becoming an agentic operating system or as an AI-powered system on a device capable of processing natural language commands and taking autonomous action for its users. Since 2023, Microsoft has invested heavily in generative AI, first by financially backing ChatGPT maker OpenAI before developing its own AI offerings. As the distance between the two companies grew, Microsoft AI or chat-based generative AI interaction that it calls Copilot serves a variety of use cases ranging from browsing online and maximizing productivity to generating multimedia and summarizing or correcting your content. Whether a Microsoft customer is using Windows as their OS, as their browser, Outlook for their mail needs, or a Surface PC for their task, while Copilot is already present or easy to access. Meanwhile, the Microsoft 365 Copilot offering integrates AI with commonly used programs such as Word, Excel, PowerPoint. Last month, Microsoft further shared that it was rolling out updates to make every Windows 11 PC and AI PC powered by Copilot. But when Microsoft posted, we heard you wanted at the rate Copilot made it work on X on November 19. The social media platform added a temporary context note that contradicted this, citing unhappy users' responses. Meanwhile, Dell CEO Jeffrey Clark noted during the November 25 earnings call that about 500 million devices capable of running Windows 11 haven't been upgraded. On their side, multiple Windows 11 users have complained of glitches and delays. Why is Microsoft facing backlash? Ex-users complained that requests for population non-AI features had gone unheard by Microsoft and that existing issues with Windows were not being adequately resolved. Others raised concern about potential bloatware in their Microsoft devices and platforms as well as reduced data privacy and drop in performance, increased security risks and increased bugs and advertisements due to agentic AI rollouts. Some users voiced their belief that Microsoft was focusing more on products aimed at business or enterprises collecting user data rather than everyday users who wanted a cleaner, less complicated OS and device experience. Complaints about Microsoft's AI roadmap are not new. New In fact, Microsoft in 2024 was hit with backlash from users over a tool called Recall for Copilot Plus PCs that would leverage AI to help users find content they had already seen. In order for this to happen, users had to opt into saving snapshots or screenshots of their activity. Privacy experts criticized the recall feature and highlighted severe security and privacy risks, while users also demanded ways to disable recall. In response, Microsoft delayed recall and only shipped it in April this year. However, customer anger online over the company's AI only mounted in the run-up to the Ignite event. How has Microsoft responded? Microsoft has continued to stress on the safety, privacy, and security of its AI-infused offerings, highlighting that they can be used for organization, businesses, personal needs, industries, education, IT, and developer needs. On November 15, Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella shared a post on X where he hailed the company's partnerships with other firms such as OpenAI and AMD. He also batted in favor of a more collaborative approach where the success of AI adoption could be gauged through societal change and positive roughs rather than company valuations. Let us move beyond zero sum thinking and the winner take all hype and focus instead on building broad capabilities that harness the power of this technology to achieve local success in each one, which then leads to broad economic growth and societal benefits. Mr. Nadella posted on November 19, Microsoft AI CEO Mustafa Suleyman took to X to address users' anger and criticism more directly, but pegged negative reactions to a lack of excitement surrounding the potential of AI. Geez, there are so many cynics. It cracks me up when I hear people call AI underwhelming. I grew up playing Snake on a Nokia phone. The fact that people are unimpressed that we can have a fluent conversation with a super smart AI that can generate any image or video is mind blowing to me, posted Mr. Sulaiman. In response, multiple users complained about AI utilization or the risk of their work being undermined by inaccurate information retrieved by AI from dubious or even unusable sources. Furthermore, Mr. Nadella and Mr. Suleiman's reactions were both branded as being out of touch with customer sentiment or other firm facing similar complaints. Yes and no. While multiple big tech giants are exploring agencies, AI features and products, the reactions from customers have been drastically different. For example, relatively new companies such as ChatGPT, Maker, OpenAI, and Google or Amazon backed Anthropic face far less criticism from users when they launch new generative AI products or announce AI integration. This is because they are fundamentally AI companies, so customer expectations align with the company's area of exploration. When such companies do face criticism, user complaints are likely to focus on AI product quality, the legality of the AI training process, cybersecurity risk, or the impact of their chatbot on people's health and behavior. The two companies do not sell consumer-first devices. However, when legacy giants such as Microsoft or Google, known for their solid market presence and their consumer hardware offerings, rapidly walked down the generative AI bandwagon, many users felt as if the highly experimental technology was being forced into every part of their personal tech ecosystem, whether they wanted it there or not. Google also fielded complaints Surrounding its AI overview in search for AI generated search summaries. Digital experts warn that revenue to media companies, smaller publishers, and Google's own rivals could be impacted by the spike in AI powered drawing, with accuracy taking a hit as well. Know your English. He strode into the room and shouted at her. The entire department is Lulu. They think the team is going to get a big raise by tomorrow. What did your boss say about your team's proposal? He didn't say a word after our presentation. That doesn't sound good. He was probably angry. After some time, he strolled into our department and tore us all apart. That must have shocked everyone. Did he stroll or stride into the room? Stroll, stride, what differences does it make? In both cases, you are saying he walked into the room. You are talking about the manner in which he walked into the room. There is a difference between stride and stroll. Really? What's the difference between the two? The word stroll suggests you are walking into the room in a relaxed manner. In other words, you walk slowly, you are not in a hurry. Exactly, I am sure your angry boss didn't walk into the room slowly. The leisurely walk that people take in the mornings and evenings can be referred to as a stroll. Emma took her 4-year-old son for a stroll in the park. The kids strolled along the beach hand in hand. It was a beautiful sight that my grandfather calls a brisk walk. I call it stroll. Anyway, tell me what stride means. When you stride, you take long steps and you probably walk a lot more quickly than you normally do. Exactly. The angry mother strode to the clerk's desk and demanded to see the principal. The client strode out of the room when the father saw his two sons fighting. He strode across the room and separated them, something my father had to do quite often when my brother and I were kids. Who can forget those days? How is the new novel you bought a few days ago? It's good, contained a strange word. You remember how it is spelled. If I call correctly, it's spelled Belulu. The E in the first syllable is likely I in sit, pit and bit, and the U in the next two sounds like the U in cool. Cool. The word is pronounced D-lu-lu. What does it mean? The exact opposite the word is considered slang. According to most standard dictionaries, it is the slang term for delusional. You know what delusional means, right? Doesn't it mean believing things that are not necessarily true or real? Very good. It's mostly used with individuals who are obsessed about things and people. Here are examples. The star called the police when he found a bunch of delules standing outside the gate. राष्ट्रपति देश नायक ने पीएम मोदी का किया धन्यवाद। भारत ने समय पर श्रीलंका की मदद की, इसके लिए शुक्रिया श्रीलंका राष्ट्रपति से। भारत ने श्रीलंका को हर संभव मदद का दिया भरोसा। पीएम ने श्रीलंका के राष्ट्रपति से की बात। तूफान दितवा से हुए नुकसान पर जताया दुख। राष्ट्रपति दिशा नायक भारत की मदद पर जताया आभार। पीएम मोदी ने ऑपरेशन सागर बंधु के जरिए भारत की मदद जारी करने का दिया भरोसा। पीएम मोदी ने की श्रीलंका के राष्ट्रपति से बात। भारत ने समय पर श्रीलंका की मदद की, इसके लिए श्रीलंका ने धन्यवाद किया। भारत ने श्रीलंका को हर संभव मदद का दिया भरोसा। तूफान दितवा से हुए नुकसान पर जताया दुख। पीएम मोदी ने की श्रीलंका के राष्ट्रपति से बात। साइक्लोन दितवा से हुई तबाही पर जताया दुख। राष्ट्रपति दिशा नायके ने पीएम मोदी का धन्यवाद किया। पीएम मोदी ने की श्रीलंका के राष्ट्रपति से बात। पीएम मोदी ने श्रीलंका के राष्ट्रपति से बात की। श्रीलंका के राष्ट्रपति ने धन्यवाद दिया भारत के प्रधानमंत्री जी को। भारत ने श्रीलंका को हर संभव मदद का जताया। पीएम मोदी ने श्रीलंका के राष्ट्रपति से बात की। ऑपरेशन सागर बंधु के जरिए भारत की मदद जारी रहने का दिया भरोसा। राष्ट्रपति दिशा नायक ने पीएम मोदी का धन्यवाद किया। भारत ने समय पर श्रीलंका की मदद की, इसके लिए शुक्रिया। श्रीलंका राष्ट्रपति से तूफान दितवा से हुए नुकसान पर जताया दुख। राष्ट्रपति दिशा नायक ने भारत के प्रधानमंत्री का किया धन्यवाद। पीएम मोदी ने श्रीलंका के राष्ट्रपति से फोन पर की बात। साइक्लोन दितवा से हुई तबाही पर जताया दुख। राष्ट्रपति दिशा नायक ने पीएम मोदी का धन्यवाद किया। Now I thank all my brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, students and scholars, teachers and trainers, professors, professionals, officers, external learners. I thank all my honorable ministers and managers, respected doctors and directors, honorable advocates, advertisers, administrative advisors. Last but not least, I would like to thank the most honorable President Mr. Modi ji. Thank you very much. Thank you. Nice to see all of you. Thank you.